Hey, what's up, team? It's Darryll here with my buddy Ryan from Second Chance Athletes. We want to talk to you today about the speed of the game. If you're watching this and you feel like you have a passion to reach high levels of achievement and success in life, we want to talk to you about how that demand that's on your life requires you to run at a different speed and different ways you can handle that. So let's jump into it. So, Ryan, one of the things that I was thinking about as we were just brainstorming about this speed of the game topic was how when you move from different levels in sports, from high school to college, from college to pro, the speed of the game changes.
Absolutely.
And I remember my first college practice, how fast it was. Everything was timed. You had to run two in between drills to the
Sure.
next one.
Sure.
And then you had to go full throttle in the drills. And it was like, man, the speed is so much faster. And originally, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to keep up with the speed. And I feel like life happens that way. I feel like as we get more responsibilities, as we reach higher levels of success, as we have more children,
Sure.
that life gets faster.
Right.
And how do we handle that, man?
I think the good news is we're trained for it, right?
That's true.
I think in a sense that we've lived it through athletics. I think we've if you go back and look at your high school days as an athlete, maybe your college days, and if you've had a chance to play professionally, you're kind of trained already to handle complexity, multiple things
That's
going
true.
on in a day.
That's true.
I think it's different than your standard students,
Mhm.
and planning of time, right, and
Mhm.
getting to all the tasks you have to get to between your homework and your workouts, your practices, the extra work you're going to do before and after. The
Mhm.
list goes on, right? So I'll throw it out there that I think it's actually a benefit, and that we've actually had that training in the past. Now it looks different,
Mhm.
right? You mentioned kids, you mentioned marriages, you mentioned
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
That all looks different
Yeah.
moving forward, and it does. The pace can get frantic, man. It can get absolutely out of control, and with the with the push, with the desire, with the training that we have, I mean, we're kind of conditioned to strive for it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that off switch or that rest piece that we've kind of alluded to is kind of it's elusive,
Yeah.
right? At times we just push and push and push, man.
Mhm.
And I personally, I'm finding myself in one of those phases right now. So
Yeah, as you were talking, the phrase that came to mind that I know is popular amongst a lot of athletes is no days off.
mm,
And it's like one of the things that we say to like talk about how much of a work ethic we have
yeah,
is that I work so hard that I don't even take a day off
right.
and no sleep club and like all of this
Oh,
stuff that we say. It sounds good, but it's really not wise.
mm,
And we have to learn how to shut it down. And there's true research, even around like physical health, that rest is important, that
sure.
refueling is important. And we can't just keep doing more and more and staying up later and waking up earlier because we need rest.
Yep,
And self-care is important.
it is.
And I think that one of the reasons why we do it is because we really don't trust the process.
Right.
Like we really don't trust that I can learn how to operate at this pace without staying up later and grinding hard.
Yeah, I think too. Like when you're coming out of an athletic career, you're almost starting at a ground zero again.
True.
So you feel like you have to. You feel like
Yeah.
I have to grind.
That's true.
I have to work 80, 90 hours a week. I have to do these things. And man, you work yourself into a frenzy. The challenge with that is I think we talked about another one of these videos is that because we're conditioned that way,
Mm-hmm.
it is hard to turn that off.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go into the workforce and you go into your career and you start that way, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I've got family.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got these other, and let's put it on time because
Yeah.
it turns into, right, a consumer of time.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have all these different parts and pieces asking for that still, it's a fixed piece of time.
Mm-hmm.
All those other parts and pieces are not asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've only known to give it to one thing and given it to one thing only.
Right.
And that was me. That was me. That was my career. That was my obsession with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is give baseball every last waking hour I had. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tough thing to just turn off, man. And especially, like you mentioned, the days of rest. I mean, I remember, like you said, it's you don't take a day off, and
Mm-hmm.
I've transferred that into my after career.
Of course.
And I got to tell you what, you crash. You get to a point, like I said, right now I'm at a stage right now. The past year, I have been blitzing. I have been crushing it. I have been on all cylinders, and it's just recently that's been put on my heart that I need to start resting a little more.
Wow.
Right? I actually need to start pulling out from doing certain things, getting away from certain things, shortening the amount of time I do on X, so I can get to Y. And that some people call it balance.
Yeah, it's like balance.
It's
My mentor told me it's kind of like dancing. It's like finding a rhythm.
Sure.
Right? Because sometimes balance is unachievable.
Agreed.
Meaning that like, oh, I'm supposed to spend 1/4 of my time on this and 1/4 of my time on this. And if you got 4 priorities, you just split you and 4.
Yeah.
But that might not be the best way to go about managing and leading your responsibilities in life.
I like that.
So you got to learn how to move with the rhythm.
I think they changed too, right?
You said you saw the rhythm.
You got some. I think too the seasons changed, right? So some seasons are gonna, let's say you have 4 things you're focusing on, right? I've got my faith, family, fitness, and finance, my 4 F's that I put into every day.
Like how you spun that off real quick.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Some days my family gets most of that time. Some days my faith gets it. Some days my finance, my job gets most of that time.
Yeah.
So I like what you said. It's not always a balance. Like I know I'm going to give a quarter.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's trying to figure out how that season is evolving and changing. And, like I said, let's build that rest piece in too, man. It's really important.
It is really
How many
important.
of us have always been, taught that you got to be, the first one up, or you've always got to put in the extra hours and throughout athletic careers. And like I said, we keep that going. And that pace is rigorous, man. It's rigorous.
You mentioned something that was so powerful. I want to go back to it because you talked about when we transition from sport to life, we kind of start from the bottom or reset.
True.
And that is something that I did not know I was dealing with.
Right.
So when I transitioned out, I was wondering why I was just couldn't sleep at night. I just felt like I was trying to learn everything really fast because I was in a corporate environment where I was a writer and we had deadlines, yes. But like I remember like just not allowing myself a week to learn how to perfect my craft. Like I felt like I had to be perfect from day one. Right? And when it took a few months, it was like, man, like I suck. So I'm just gonna study harder, stay up later. And what I didn't know then that I know now is that I was struggling to be confident in myself and my abilities because I was used to being at a peak level in another industry.
Very true.
And I started from the bottom, and what I was really trying to do was get back to this level of peak achievement.
Sure.
But that took me 18 years, 20 years to get to, whereas I just started and maybe got a year of schooling in and 6 months of an internship in, and I need to give myself time to grow in competence and to be able to run at a faster pace.
Well, you're hitting another great piece of transition experience, right? You have a bad game one weekend, you rush for 20 yards, you come out the next weekend, you rush for 150. You fix that deficit of not feeling good about yourself, not feeling like you're a high performer. You fix it in a week's time. You just said, how many years did it take you to get to where you felt like you were on that achievement road, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with baseball where I was. I could tweak something mechanically over 1 week and go from a slump in one weekend to a success in the next. I could go from throwing X number of mile an hour over a couple of weeks, and now I'm throwing a different mile an hour, right? I make those changes, and those changes are almost, I guess you could argue, just quick, right? They're fast, back to that speed. So not only is the game fast, the measurables are fast, man. And then we get into this thing of life, and not only back at the bottom, starting over as a rookie, it takes a lot longer to start feeling the wins. It takes a lot longer to build that confidence. It takes a lot longer. You know what I'm saying?
So I think, like if the win is always, like in sports, it was always like the trophy, the medal, the whatever, the statistic. And like, and life, sometimes it's harder to measure stuff. Sometimes the win is that you didn't get fired.
Right.
Like sometimes the win is that you come home and you have energy to give to your family. So I think we have to like redefine the win.
Completely.
Because if the win is when, I 10x my company, or the win is when, I'm knocking down 7 figures, then, you're going to delay your gratification or your stillness and your rest till you get to this point in life that may not ever come or may take a lifetime to come. And you miss out on the joy and the beauty of life.
I love it.
And so we got to learn how to cooperate with the rhythms of speed of the season that we're in,
the measures,
and figure out what is the win for this season.
I love it. I tell people all the time,
Mm-hmm.
you come out of sport, you've got statistics. You come out of school, you've got GPAs, you've got measures. You hit it earlier. You made a great point. What are those measures?
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're chasing that big income and that $700,000, man, that race could get really long.
Yeah,
and it could get really exhausting. And you could actually, along that race, you could lose a lot of good memories and a lot of good people, right?
Yeah.
So good points. Back to, again, the speed. The speed can, if we're not careful of how we're transitioning that speed and everything that we've been conditioned for, and, you know, those levels, and, you know, let's look at this too. I mean, if you don't mind going there with me too, as you get those complexities in life with kids and career, the further you get into your career, let's look into that. It does get harder. Like my wife's traveling more now, right? That's part of her career progression. Life gets fast, right? Life is fast now. Now I've got 2 kids on my own. Now I've got my responsibilities at work. I've got responsibilities at home. She's traveling. She's got her responsibilities. It does, man. It gets fast again. Just kind of that level of progression of your athletic career.
So I would say it this way. One of the ways to know your speed is to know your season.
Love it.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah.
One of the ways to know your speed is to know your season. You earlier mentioned that you were blitzing for a while, and then now you're kind of in the slowing down season. I feel like I'm the opposite. I feel like I went through the last year and a half where it's like I was writing the book for Second Chance Athletes and building foundation and my areas of ministry and business. And then now it's like, boom, time to rev up the engine, and we're picking up and we're getting into schools, and now I'm trying to publish and promote. Momentum is cranking. You know, the summer and ministry is over. So now it's like my speed is increasing because my season has shifted.
That's right.
And that's why we can't compare ourselves to other people, because they may be in a different season.
Right.
And sometimes if I'm, imagine this is so funny because I don't know if y'all probably did. So walkthroughs, did y'all do walkthroughs like day before game?
Not
baseball,
not really. Scouting reports, that type of stuff, but not really.
So for us in football, it was like, the day before the game would be like a walkthrough, or maybe 2 days before the game if we travel.
Sure.
And we'll be like no pads, we'd just be in shorts and, whatever athletic apparel we have. And all we were doing is running through plays and really walking through. That's why I call it a walkthrough. But I just imagine somebody with full pads on, like trying to blitz and like blast somebody when we're doing the walkthrough.
Right.
That's what it looks like when you try to operate at the speed of somebody else's season. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And so, don't be the person with pads on blitzing in the middle of a no padded walkthrough.
Right.
Know your season and operate at your speed.
Sure.
I love it.
I dig it, man.
I love it.
I really do. Just, everybody's season is going to have a different complexity to it. One's going to be full of momentum. The other one's going to be, right now mine's a season of rest. I'm being told to slow down. So, but I dig that.
Yeah.
Know your season.
Know your season.
Right? Know your season, know your speed.
And honestly, I think that's a good place to just land the plane, because there's people that are watching this video right now and they've been too busy comparing themselves to one another.
Yes.
Or they recognize now that what they're really trying to do is get to a peak level of performance that takes 18 years to get to, and they're trying to do it in a year rather than operating at the speed of their season and trusting the pace.
Yeah.
And so, hey, if you're watching this and you feel like, man, you've just been grinding at the mill, you can't even remember the last vacation you took, the last day off you had, you've been hashtag no days off, let's hashtag day off and let's rest. Let's take care of self. Let's trust the pace of our season. If you've been comparing yourself to other people and you feel like you're not as successful as somebody else because you're at a different season or stage of life, rest in knowing that success is defined by your season. Okay. And let's not play the comparison game. Let's know what the best path is for us. And let's live our best lives after sports.
Yeah. You guys have any feedback out there? As always, we're going to ask you to shoot it to us. Let us know your thoughts. If you're caught up in the race, in this pace that you just can't keep up, or you've been trying to keep up for a long time, and you're feeling the fatigue, maybe it's a good conversation for us to have with you right now, and you to share with the group that you've been pushing that max, and you know what, maybe now it's time for a rest and a change of season. But I've been there. I can personally say I've walked this, where I have seen somebody else's achievements and I have wished for it and raced for it in a season that I just was not completely ready for it. There's no chance. I had no chance. And obviously years and years ago, and here I am sitting in a seat that looks different today. And it's interesting reflecting back for sure. So share those stories with us. Send them in. Second Chance Athletes, as always, looking to finish strong. That's right. That afterlife after sport. That's right. And we just thank you for tuning in.
That's right. So if you're not in that Facebook group, you can look it up. It is Second Chance Athletes. Look it up on Facebook, or you can just shoot us an email, comment on the YouTube channel, and then make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get the latest updates. All right. Till next time, finish strong. Peace.